Welcome to Ecclesia Principles, a biblical strategy for believers to engage in God's design for government with Ray Eppard.
Hello, glad you could join us again today. We're currently going through the subject of the spiritual dynamics of government. Right now, we're talking about pulling down strongholds. We've identified that a stronghold is different than the presence of a spiritual host of wickedness or even a principality or a power. Those are present at all times. A stronghold is what they look to build. Now today, I want to focus on 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 5, because Paul is telling us in verse 4 that we're to pull down strongholds. So he's dealing with a stronghold that is present, and he's really talking about pulling those layers down. But if we go at it from the opposite end, we will see how Satan builds a stronghold. And again, the ultimate objective is to get that stronghold validated by government. Because when government validates a stronghold, it becomes institutionalized. And it can spread much more rapidly and become much stronger. Now, so let's look at verse 5, and then we'll work our way back up. Casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. So if we're looking at how Satan builds a stronghold, then that last thing he talks about there of bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ, the first step in building a stronghold is not taking every thought captive. It's entertaining the thought. It is thinking about it, processing it. We might know what God says, but we're considering what the enemy is saying. Perfect example of this is Eve in the Garden of Eden. When the serpent started talking to her, he said, has God said that you can't eat of every tree? And then she misquoted God, but now in her defense to a degree, she got her information from Adam, because when God said don't eat of the tree, Eve had not been created yet. So Adam told her. And so, who knows if Adam conveyed it accurately. Because Eve says, oh, we can eat of every tree of the garden except this one, the one that's there in the midst. We can't eat of it or touch it. Now, we don't have proof. But what if Adam told her, hey, listen, God said don't eat of that, so just don't touch it. Well, at that point, she got a tradition. She got something handed down from man that doesn't work. At that point, she wasn't really obeying God. She had human reasoning into that, whether it was Adam's reasoning that he gave her or her own that she came up with. If I'm not supposed to eat it, then I'm better off if I don't touch it. So we're not even supposed to touch it. Well, they couldn't tend the garden if they didn't touch it. And if you would, Satan was playing on that gap in her thinking. Oh, you'll not surely die. And as it says, when Eve realized, the fruit was good for food. Oh, it'll make you wise. All these good things. You'll actually be more like God if you eat this. See, she began to entertain the thoughts. See, right now, she's not bound. She's still free. The curse has not come on the earth. Sin hasn't entered her body to where she will die. Sin hasn't entered her heart where she will die. She's just having some thoughts. She's just thinking about it, and which Adam was right there with her, and he watched the entire thing. And he didn't help take it captive either. And you see, that's where it begins. It begins with entertaining things contrary to what God says. That's where that stronghold begins. Very innocently, almost unthreatening. It's just a thought. And then he begins to build on it. And tomorrow we will begin to look at where it goes to next. So you join us again tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great day.